The jet screamed earthward, smoke peeling from its wings as Maya Knox gripped the dead control stick. The airfield impossibly small beneath her dot. The wind clawed through the shattered canopy, while alarms shrieked in overlapping choruses. Each a frantic metronome counting down to the moment metal would meet dirt. Maya's hand steady, slender, scarred by years of work, no resume admitted, fought to feel something through a hydraulic line that no longer existed. She tasted copper, realized she'd bitten her own tongue, and swallowed the fear with the blood. 30 seconds earlier she'd been relegated to the back seat of a two-seater trainer, told to observe only by the very instructor who'd stamped a red X across her flight packet that morning. "You don't have the temperament," Captain Ryland Pierce had said, his smile thin enough to slip paper. He'd called her soft. He knew nothing. Now the front seat where Pierce should have been was empty, ejected into a bruised sky, and the aircraft bucked like a wounded bull. Maya forced herself to breathe slower. Oxygen in, doubt out. That was Rule 1 from her mother, Helena Knox, elite field medic, combat calcine nightingale. Rule 2 had come from her father, Amos Ghost Knox, U.S. Army sniper legend. No. Your tools before you need them. She ran through systems in her head. Electrical redundant and intact. Hydraulics gone. Control authority minimal. Fuel flaming vent lines. Livable. Below. The training compound sprawled between desert mesas like a tessellated patch of Lego hangars, runways, refueling trucks. Beyond that, nothing but sagebrush and an audience of skeptical trainees. She could practically hear them scoffing. The woman who never flew solo. The recruit who aced every simulator but lacked aggression. Maya flexed her jaw. They were about to witness more aggression than they'd bargained for. ***, drop of, if you've ever been underestimated. The nose dipped again. She trimmed. Manually, recalling an obscure emergency procedure buried in a technical supplement she'd studied after lights out while others drank in town. Manual reversion. Shift weight, use throttle asymmetry. Dance on rudder pedals like a concert pianist on fire. One chance. She keyed the emergency frequency with her elbow. Tower, this is trainee call sign Redbird 2. Instructor has ejected. Aircraft is control compromised. Attempting dead stick landing. Her voice held a calm she didn't feel. Years of hiding nerves behind inquisitive brown eyes paid dividends now. Static answered. Then the tower controller's voice broke like a teenage boy's. Redbird 2, say again? Captain Pierce. She cut him off. Tower, prep runway 13. Clear all traffic. Foam path. She could almost smell their panic. Good. Panic mobilized resources. 25 seconds. Backstory threaded itself through her consciousness the way cracks chased across the canopy. She remembered being 8, stripping bolt carriers with her father in the garage because he believed dexterity beat cartoons. She remembered her mother's triage drills, patching pigskin under red heat lamps to simulate arterial spray. She remembered the day both parents agreed she'd never join their ranks. Attention was fatal. So she hid skill behind meek smiles, the hidden expert. Until Ryland Pierce. He'd seen her flight evaluations. Too perfect to be believable, he'd said. He wanted errors that bent but didn't break. When she refused to manufacture mistakes, he cut her from the rotation, consigning her to ground duty. 20 seconds. The left wing sloughed another ribbon of flame. Maya sighed, slipped to starve the fire, nose yawing into the wind, her braid whipping like a pennant. Adrenaline tunneled her hearing. Each heartbeat was a hammer on steel. She spotted the runway threshold still miles out. Gravity then. She reduced throttle to idle and let the jet fall, nose down, angle steeper than recommended. Airspeed spiked. Control surfaces bit the slipstream, giving her a whisper of authority. 15 seconds. On the tarmac, ground crews scattered. Foam trucks screamed across asphalt. She glimpsed the speck of Captain Pierce's parachute, drifting beyond the perimeter alive. Undoubtedly cursing this observer, now flying his crippled bird. Asterisk asterisk droppa, if you know someone who hides their true strength. Asterisk asterisk flaps were useless without hydraulics. She deployed speed brakes instead, felt the airframe shake like a tuning fork. Altitude unwound. She calculated vector in her headfather's math drills. Sink rate 2,000 feet per minute. Airspeed 220 knots. Runway elevation 3,200 feet. Current AGL 1,500. She had 35 seconds until impact, but only 10 to establish glide. She trimmed again, manual cable tension groaning under foot pressure. The nose responded grudgingly, a stubborn stallion. She leveled just enough to convert dive into glide. The cockpit smelled of burning insulation, of endings. Exterior alarms gave way to one relentless tone, ground proximity. Pull up. It mocked. Her dot 10 seconds. Maya's hands bled where aluminum shards had sliced her gloves. She felt nothing but purpose. Ahead, the runway centerline gleamed white, a promise more fragile than sugar glass. She angled for a long final, aligning with the foam-slick path. No go around, no second tries. She whispered to the jet, "Stay with me." The nose wheel light winked, useless. 5 seconds. Throttle to idle. She raised the nose slightly, praying. The remaining hydraulics in the landing gear would lock. The main wheels kissed asphalt hard. The jet rebounded, threatened to porpoise. She tapped brakes with toes that screamed protest. No pressure hydraulics dead there too. She pumped. Again manual override. The aircraft settled, skidding through foam, sparks extinguished by sudsy white. 3,000 feet to stop. She had 1,500. She dropped the hook auxiliary cable. The arresting wire caught, jerking her forward against straps, vertebrae. Singing. The jet halted 40 feet short of the barrier. Silence crashed over her. Maya exhaled. A shudder that carried away 10 years of hiding. Emergency crews swarmed. Through the cracked canopy, she saw faces: shock, relief, grudging awe. She unstrapped, muscles jelly, and stood atop the fuselage like a figurehead on a shipwreck. Smoke curling around her boots. Captain Pierce sprinted across the foam. Flight suit soaked from an irrigation ditch where he'd landed. His helmet dangled from one hand, disbelief etched deep. He barked, "Knox, how?" She met his eyes. "You told me to observe, sir. I observed we had no hydraulics, so I landed." Her tone was even, but the words tasted like brass knuckles. He opened. His mouth closed it, opened it again. No sound. The base commander arrived, a silver-haired colonel whose gaze surveyed wreckage and runway before settling on Maya. "Lieutenant, report." She delivered concise metrics: altitude loss, systems failure, manual reversion procedures to ears that actually listened. When she finished, the colonel nodded once, slowly. "You just performed a textbook no hydraulic landing in an aircraft without a textbook procedure," he said. "Captain Pierce, you cut this pilot from training today?" Pierce flushed. "Temporary, sir." The colonel stared at Maya again. "Not anymore." "Effective immediately. Lieutenant Knox is reinstated. Captain Pierce, we'll discuss your assessment criteria." Pierce swallowed. Maya's heartbeat eased, but a new tension coiled. What next? The hidden was now visible. The sky larger, but so was the target on her back. She looked past the colonel to the far end of the runway, where black smoke stained heaven. Maintenance crews would dissect the wreckage, hungry for cause. She knew cause. Sabotage wasn't off the table. Someone had cut hydraulic redundancy. Someone who understood that eliminating the woman dismissed as too cautious would raise no eyebrows. The thought chilled her more than the wind through her ripped flight suit. Her parents' lessons thrummed. Victory invites new threats. Stay. Vigilant. A paramedic tugged her sleeve. "Ma'am, you're bleeding." She glanced at her hands red-gloved. "Later," she said. but the air shifted like the world inhaled before shouting. She turned instinctively. Across the ramp, a refueling tanker exploded in a mushroom of orange fire, the shockwaves slamming into flight line shelters. Screams rose as shrapnel stung the dawn. Maya's eyes widened. Everyone get down. But the colonel was already barking orders, the base dissolving into chaos. And there, silhouetted against the inferno, stood a figure in contractor coveralls holding a device with a blinking red light, the kind that demanded detonation. Maya leapt from the fuselage, landing in a sprint that drove shock through her knees. Adrenaline reignited. The hidden war had just declared itself. Asterisk, asterisk, droppa, if you're ready to see what she does next. Asterisk, asterisk. She closed on the shadowed saboteur, but the figure pressed the device, and fuel lines erupted like serpents of flame, cutting a burning moat between them. Heat seared her face. She threw an arm across her eyes. Through the roar, she heard the click of a safety lever. Releasing on the saboteur's hip holster, a sidearm, he raised it. Muzzle glinting, Maya's mind snapped to sniper school evenings with her father, to tournament. Quick draw matches she'd secretly aced. Her own sidearm rested in its holster, but 10 meters might as well be a mile if he fired first. The saboteur shouted something swallowed by flame. She read lips. Grounded now. He aimed. Maya dropped. Rolled behind the service cart as bullets clanged. Sparks showered. She drew her weapon, lungs burning. But when she popped up to return fire, the saboteur was gone, vanished into the confusion, leaving only burning footprints. She scanned, too many bodies running, too much smoke. He'd melt into the maintenance. Tunnels beneath the tarmac, she realized, places only contractors knew. Foam hissed as water cannons traced silver arcs through the veils of smoke, but Maya Knox kept low, a silhouette darting across the fractured flight line. Firelight strobed over her goggles in rhythmic pulses, each flash engraving a memory she'd wished to unsee. Fuel trucks on their sides like beached whales, spilled JP-8 burning in oily rainbows, medics kneeling beside motionless, shadows stitched from flight suits and red-black grief. She shut those images behind an iron door. They would break her later if she survived the next hour. Now every second was physics and intent, the kinetic dance her parents hammered into muscle memory. She mapped the airfield by instinct. Runway centerline at her back, maintenance tunnels. 50 yards northwest beneath the camouflage-netted service pit. Ammo bunkers further east beyond a razor wire fence already sagging under the blast wave. Somewhere inside that warren of concrete and galvanized ducting, the saboteur armed more surprises. The base siren rose an octave, switching from evacuation pattern to internal security breach. That howl dug into bone, a primal note that turned capable aviators into scattering pigeons. She skirted a crater where the refueler had stood moments earlier, heat blistering her flight boots, and vaulted a collapsed light pole, its incandescent guts still blinking like a dying firefly. A security Humvee fishtailed past, tires shredding on debris. An airman manning the roof turret spotted her and barked, "Ma'am, primary muster is tunnel access." Maya cut in, pointing, "Seal it. I'm going after the intruder." Authority laced her voice, heavier than her gold lieutenant bars could. Support alone. The gunner hesitated. Then training overruled surprise. He slapped the cab roof twice, and the Humvee slewed toward the service pit. Asterisk, asterisk. Drop a if you've ever stepped up when rank said you couldn't. Asterisk, asterisk. She sprinted after them, lungs burning more from adrenaline than smoke. A trio of firefighters crossed her path, hauling a limp figure whose sleeve bore the orange stripe of fuel crew trainees. The man moaned as his skin steamed under cooling mist. Maya's pulse stuttered. She knew him. Airman First Class Ruhan, the kid with kind eyes who'd shared contraband chocolate to celebrate her simulator record. She wanted to stop, press gauze, whisper that he'd be fine, but every second counted. She vaulted over the makeshift stretcher. Promising herself she'd return. At the pit, the Humvee blocked the ramp, its headlights throwing daggers into the cavernous maintenance tunnel. 2 security police, Sergeant Ortega and senior airmen. Bloom established a barricade with rifles braced on the hood. Ortega jerked his chin. "Lieutenant, rumors say you landed the crippled bird. Hell of a move. Command says stand by for CID. No. Time." She ducked under his rifle barrel, triggering his protective instinct. Intruders inside with demolition charges. Tunnel feeds avionics building, ammo bunkers, power substation, all within 300 yards. She pressed past, ignoring his curse. Bloom tossed her a spare headset and a flashlight. "Channel 6. Don't die, ma'am." "Plan to live," she muttered and descended into the gloom. The maintenance tunnels were ribbed concrete, arteries smelling of coolant and hydraulic oil. Emergency strobes painted red ghosts across coolant pipes. Water from burst fire mains dripped rhythmically, masking footsteps his and hers. She flicked the flashlight only for milliseconds at junctions, memorizing graffiti and stenciled numbers to track her path. Left 4B led toward avionics. Right 4A veered under fuel stores where damage would chain react. He would choose maximum carnage. Right. Then her boots splashed through shallow pools, ripples whispering against bulkhead walls. She slowed, breathing through her nose, listening. Above, the world thrummed. Helicopters ferrying casualties, sirens modulating, loudhailers issuing contradictory orders. Down here the soundtrack was her heart and distant metallic clatters, a tool dropped, perhaps, or the click of a detonator arm. She thumbed her radio. 6, this is Knox, Tunnel Grid 4, approaching fuel header, possible IED setup. Clear. Corridor above. Static hissed, then Ortega's gravel. Copy. Upper deck cleared. EOD en route 5 mics. 5 minutes too many. She recalled her father's calm voice, explaining sympathetic detonation. A warhead seeks friends. One boom invites another. The fuel reservoir overhead held 200,000 gallons. If ignited, it would turn the entire training compound into sunrise at midnight. She advanced, finger off trigger to avoid sympathetic tension in her own muscles. The red strobe dimmed behind her. Darkness thickened. She clicked her light once white cone slicing ahead and caught movement. A hunched figure kneeling beside a pipe manifold, fastening a disc the size of a dessert plate. She killed the beam. Heart pounded so loud she feared he'd hear. But he worked with single-minded focus. Unaware, Maya's mind leafed through strategic options like cards, challenge and risk detonation. Close silently and incapacitate. Shoot but risk hitting the charge or rupturing fuel lines. She chose door 2. No hydraulics. No problem. Silent footwork was her mother's cutting bandage drill. Approach at angle, no shadow, let heartbeat. Sync with target's X-hole, 2 meters. She tasted solvent on the air. The saboteur muttered to himself, voice accented Eastern European, hard to parse. She saw now the disc was a shaped charge wired into remote transmitter, 1 meter. She lunged. Elbow to carotid, knee to solar plexus. He squawked, twisting. The transmitter skittered across concrete. She seized his wrist, thumb digging into the nerve between tendons, forcing release of the detonator switch. It clattered away, then pain sharp and bright blossomed along her ribs as his free hand stabbed with a box cutter. Her flight suit shredded. Blood bloomed hot. She cursed but tightened her chokehold, body weight levering his spine. They crashed into the manifold, wrenching a valve that began spraying kerosene in a geyser. Kerosene atomized into mist, kissing open sparks from the falling transmitter, which bounced against steel, threatening ignition. Maya kicked it into the puddle, dousing sparks, but the assailant twisted under her. He hammered an elbow into her slice wound. Stars exploded in her vision. Instinctively she released enough pressure for him to slip out. He sprinted deeper into the tunnel, abandoning the detonator. She dragged breath through teeth. Slapped wound. With gloved palm warm, but not gushing. Adrenaline iced the pain. She scooped the transmitter, yanked battery leads free, stuffed them into her pocket. She radioed, suspect headed South 4 Alpha toward power substation. Fuel header compromised but stable. I'm in pursuit. Copy, Ortega said. We're sealing exit hatches. She ran **** droppa. If you know pain isn't the end, just a WAYPOINT. Blood slicked her side, but every stride fed oxygen into resolve. The saboteur was limping now. She'd damaged something. His coveralls bore the logo of Granite Aero Tech, a civilian contractor granted base access last month to overhaul hydraulic actuators. Ironically, she memorized employee rosters. Her brain sifted. Milos Petrovic, Serbian national, controls. Engineer. Yes, security flagged him for minor discrepancies but cleared him. Not minor, it seemed. Ahead, the tunnel dog legged into flickering light where a heavy steel door hung ajar. The substation. Transformers hummed inside like a choir. Of angry bees. She slowed. Corner approaches were life or death. She unsheathed the multi-tool father's relic flip to mirror surface, peeked around. Petrovic knelt before the main breaker panel, planting another disc. He also held something bigger, a gray suitcase with radiation trefoil. Her stomach lurched. Dirty bomb. Small but lethal, designed to aerosolize cobalt isotopes into vac intakes, turning lungs into Geiger counters. This wasn't sabotage. It was terror. Her pulse ricocheted. She needed EOD, hazmat, but no time. Even if he failed to trigger the dirty charge, the shaped explosives would fracture transformers, ignite fires, plunge base into darkness, complicating. Medevac, firefighting, everything. She holstered her sidearm, knowing a bullet might pierce the suitcase. Alternative? Melee again. Disable him quickly. She counted breaths 3. On 4, she burst through the doorway. Petrovic spun, eyes wide, reached for a handgun, too late. She drove a shoulder into his sternum, slamming him against the panel. The weapon clattered under cabinets. They grappled. His strength was ropey, fueled by fanatic purpose. He clawed her wound. Pain flared, but she harnessed it. She head-butted his nose, crunch, blood spray. He shrieked, but his knee found her thigh, deadening. Leg. They collapsed onto the suitcase. Its latches popped, lid yawning to expose lead-lined interior housing vials of cobalt salts, strapped to plastic explosive. A digital countdown ticked. 2:57. 2:56. He'd armed it remotely during retreat. Time froze. 2 minutes 56 seconds to convert a training compound into a cancer ward. Petrovic grinned through broken teeth, hissed, "You lose." He clawed for a deadman switch clipped to his belt-redundant trigger. She seized his wrist, twisting until tendons snapped like guitar strings. He howled. She slammed his skull against concrete and felt his body sag, unconscious or worse. She didn't check. She cuffed him with plastic zip ties scavenged from her utility pocket. The countdown read, 2:21. She radioed breathlessly. Device armed. Dirty bomb. 2:20. Substation. Need EOD now. Static. Underground shielding jammed. Signal. Think. Maya. Disarm. She'd studied general EOD principles, but never live. Standard. Isolate battery, sever detonator leads, remove initiator. But bombs were snowflakes, each unique. She eyed the suitcase internals. 1 o'clock, she gingerly lifted suitcase handles, just enough to slide Dolly underneath. No vertical jolt. Device beeped protest but did not detonate. She eased it down, heart hovering in throat. She secured with bungee cords, cushioning handles with Rad.00:45. She shoved Dolly out tunnel exit door into night air. The east revetment sat beyond a scorched berm. Path was cracked asphalt peppered with debris, but Dolly tires good. She ran beside, hand stabilizing. Fire crews gawked. She screamed. Clear path. The authority in her call parted seas of personnel. Asterisk droppa. If you've ever raced a clock and felt every tick beneath your ribs. Asterisk 00:30. Wind whipped embers across sky. Her side burned, breath rasped. She pushed harder. 20 meters. 10. She reached revetment lip, an earthen ramp downward. 15. Gravity helped. Dolly rolled into cratered pit. She dove behind berm as Dolly toppled, suitcase tumbling into mud. 9. Maya braced, face pressed to gravel, whispering a prayer to whichever guardian handled fools and heroes. 5. The knot with knot. Nuclear flash, but a savage thump. Orange fireball roared skyward, contained by revetment walls that funneled shock upward. Heat washed her body, a furnace door breath, but she lived. Cobalt salts atomized, yet plume shot high, dispersing harmlessly above safe altitude. She lay stunned, ears ringing, tasting dust. The world filtered back. Distant shouting, rotor blades thrumming, another siren shift triage call. She rolled, vision swimming, and saw tracer rounds stitching sky beyond hangars. New threat, unknown shooters engaging SPs. The attack was multi-layered. Crash distraction. Dirty bomb for chaos, now small arms assault. She forced herself up. Blood loss wobbled her. She tore a sealing foam packet from medkit and sprayed. Wound, cold hiss numbing edges. She stumbled toward revetment ladder when a shout froze her. Knox, on your 6. Captain Pierce, helmetless, face streaked with ash, crouched behind a forklift, waving an M4. He tossed a spare magazine sliding across gravel. Armory's hit, he yelled. We're the response team until reinforcements land. She caught the mag, chambered around. Their eyes locked, former animosity drowned by shared survival. Pierce gestured to burning tarmac. They've breached perimeter at Sector Delta. Unmarked trucks. Mercs wearing granite badges. Looks like an inside job. His voice tremored, not from fear but fury, his training command under siege. Maya nodded once. Petrovic is secure, tunnels. E8 inbound. She jerked thumb to crater. Device neutralized. His brows shot up. You handled a radiological bomb alone? Later, she said, grabbing a drop-tack vest and slipping it over charred flight suit. Together they sprinted toward Delta Sector, rallying stray defenders. Maya toggled headset. Ortega, situational. Multiple hostiles. Suppressed weapons, moving toward Hangar 6 experimental drone prototypes. Of course. Clean extraction after choking base response. They reached a barricade of overturned utility carts. Bullets sparked off steel. Maya and Pierce slid behind a tow tractor where Tech Sergeant Amani Fields directed fire teams. Lieutenant, good too. See you, Fields said, grim smile. We're low on ammo and high on targets. Ideas? Maya peeked. 3 pickup trucks with roll cages idled, engines growling. Mercs in ballistic masks, leapfrogging toward hangar doors. One carried an RF Jammeron backpack, blocking COMM's dot. She noticed forklift hydrogen tanks stacked nearby, color-coded red. She tapped Pierce. Propane, hydrogen, explosive. He understood instantly. She outlined plan. Pierce and Fields lay covering. Fire. She advances flank. Triggers remote forklift ignition to create blast that cripples convoy. High risk but buys time. Pierce's gaze softened with something approaching respect. You sure about this? Sure enough, she said. She belly crawled under hail of suppressed fire, debris slicing knees. 20 meters to hydrogen cache. She heard rounds punching forklift metal pings like church bells. She reached a service panel on tank cage, yanked. Wiring, jury-rigged arc from battery pack. Sparks danced. She set 15-second improvised fuse using her watch's minute hand broken off, wedged across contacts. Then she sprinted. Bullets pursued, chewing asphalt behind heels. She dove behind. Barrier with half-second to spare. A sun bloomed white and savage. Shockwave flattened everyone, friend and foe. Trucks flipped, Mercs hurled like rag dolls. Shards of glass and steel rained. Maya's ears rang anew. She staggered up, vision white-edged. The hangar facade cracked but held. Survivors of Mercs crawled, disoriented. Defenders regrouped, cuffing down hostiles. Pierce limped over, clapped her shoulder. "You just saved millions in drone tech," she winced. Adrenaline ebbed, pain surged. She pressed hand to ribs, blood soaked, foam patch failing. Then a voice boomed over portable loudspeaker, distorted, foreign, accented English. "Lieutenant Knox, surrender yourself, or next wave targets the city beyond the wire." She froze. They knew her name. The attack wasn't just tech theft. It was personal. The voice continued. "Your skills drew attention. Our employer values them. Come now alone to Gate 3. 10 minutes, or we launch rockets at the town you call home." Pierce mouthed. "Bluff?" She shook head. Granite Aerotech managed missile projects, had access to truck-mounted launchers. They could shell civilian areas before air guards scrambled. Guilt knifed her. The hidden life she'd nurtured, the quiet competence, had finally cast a spotlight that threatened innocence. She met Pierce's eyes. "I need an escape plan." He grabbed her arm. "We'll fight." "They'll kill kids," she hissed. "I have to go." "But I won't go alone." She outlined rapid counterstrike. She approaches Gate 3, feigning surrender, wearing a tracker. Meanwhile, Pierce's detachment infiltrates perimeter drainage culverts, flanking rocket trucks. Disrupt firing chain at count of her flare. Fields joined, nodding. "Gutsy." "Guts are what we've got," Maya said. They synchronized watches, classic movies, but effective. She requisitioned a covert ops beacon from Survival Kit Tiny. Broadcasts on SAR frequency, piggybacking cosmic noise to evade jamming. She taped it under her belt buckle. Maya straightened, wiped soot from face, adjusted posture from hunter to compliant. She holstered sidearm, openly token threat. She started toward Gate 3, each step heavier than the last. Behind her, Pierce's squad melted into shadows, storm gray silhouettes. The night smelled of burned metal and destiny. As she neared perimeter lights, she saw them, 2 black SUVs idling. Rocket tubes angled skyward, their warheads glittering like dragon teeth. 5 Mercs awaited, center one holding a tablet, likely launch control. Another held cuffs. She stepped into floodlight embrace, raising hands. Her side throbbed. She fought not to limp. "Lieutenant Knox," the leader said. Voice same as loudspeaker, Slavic cadence. "You prove resourceful. Our benefactor admires such assets," he gestured. "Kneel." Maya knelt, every sniper cell in her body screaming for vantage. She let eyelids flutter to feign weakness. Behind perimeter, she knew. Pierce crawled through drainage grid, counting seconds. Merc leader approached, produced an injector syringe of opaque fluid. "Guarantee compliance," he said. "Stand down." "Your will." Blue barrel pressed her neck. She inhaled slow, biting fear into obedience. Flare in her left palm, hidden by angle. 30 more seconds. He pressed plunger. Cold fire seeped along vein. Vision blurred edges. She tightened grip on flare, thumb poised on striker. 20 seconds. She heard distant rotor. Wash-evac helicopters still ferrying wounded. Mercs relaxed, thinking victory near. 10 seconds. Leader cupped her chin, lifting face. "Soon you will fly for us." She smiled faintly. "You forgot Rule 3. His brow furrowed. "Rule 3? She struck flare. Magnesium roared white, searing night. Mercs recoiled. Simultaneously, thunder erupted behind SUVs. Pierce's team firing suppression. Rockets erupted prematurely, spiraling into empty desert. Sky, Chaos. Maya rolled, slashing cuff hand with hidden razor from flight suit collar. Freed. Adrenaline overrode sedative. Her body a live wire. She seized Leader's pistol, but her vision swam drug quick. She fired anyway. 2 mercs dropped. Leader tackled her. Gun skidded. Her limbs tingled numb. Time syrupy. He pinned her, syringe still in hand, pushing second dose to guarantee blackout. She fought, but strength fled. In the distance, she heard Pierce shouting, gunfire closer, boots. Pounding gravel. But the world tunneled, black margins closing. Leader whispered, asset acquired after all. Darkness swallowed her. The last thing she felt was zip tie cinching wrists, and the vibration of SUV doors slamming shut as convoy fled. Into night with her inside. Asterisk. Pain arrived before sight. Diesel fumes filled Maya Knox's lungs as consciousness clawed its way through a chemical fog, and delivered the memory of zip ties digging into her wrists. She kept eyes closed, banking on the captor's inattention, and cataloged input like a black box. Engine note, 4-cylinder turbodiesel, idling under strain. Suspension bounce, high clearance, off-road frame. Airflow, rear windows cracked, desert night cool threading through. Voices, 2 male. 1 female, speaking clipped Serbian, just beyond cargo partition. They thought her under long enough to ignore. Bad assumption, drop it. If you've ever pretended to sleep to overhear secrets. Her head lolled against corrugated steel. She twitched fingers to test blood flow, still there, tingling. Sedative in her veins burned like ice water, but her mother's field medicine lessons whispered that adrenaline metabolizes intramuscular tranquilizer in half the labeled time. She worked her pulse with measured breaths, coaxing heart rate higher. A child-time image flickered. 8-year-old Maya locked inside an antique, trunk by neighborhood bullies during hide-and-seek. Panic had hammered tiny fists until her father's voice had echoed in her memory. Fear is a maze you map with your breath. She had inhaled, exhaled, found hinge screws, and using a bobby pin loosened them until daylight flooded. Tonight, same principle. She flexed shoulders, locating zip tie knot under spine. Plastic rasped fabric. Her boot tips brushed a metal crate. She traced its rivet pattern with heel mil-spec ammo can. Useful later. The vehicle swayed, slowing, tires crunching gravel. Gear shift thunked, engine idled. Doors opened, drivers, passengers. She stilled. Footsteps, conversation. No. Drones, but we have the asset. Bezos will pay double, male voice said in Serbian. The other laughed, better than drones. She flies them for us. She parsed accent, not Petrovic, but higher authority. Na Bezos? No, not Amazon, code name, or misheard. The names snapped wires in memory. Bezos, Black Eagle Zulu Operation Syndicate. APMC, rumor father once mentioned mercenaries for corporate sabotage. Trunk door thunked open. Cold air slapped her face. Hands seized ankles, dragging her out. Gravel scraped flight suit knees. She let body limp, breathing slow. Still under, female voice noted. Dose was heavy. Good. They cut zip ties, replaced with steel cuffs too. Confident. A hood slid over her head, rank with sweat. Drag resumed 10 steps. Door whoosh, cooler air. Hum of industrial, a key indoors now, concrete floor. Another door sealed behind. They hoisted her onto chair, cuffs latched to welded ring. Footsteps retreated. Door clanged. Silence thickened, humming only from ventilation. She counted 3 Mississippi, then snapped eyes open, blackness of hood, but full alertness inside. She rocked wrists, calibrating slack half centimeter before. Steel bit. Chair sturdy, bolted. She inhaled, tested sedative residue, tongue thick but coherent. Good enough. Now escape. Father's rule 4, constraints hide flaws. She explored cuffs by feel standard double lock mechanism, requires pin. To unlock, Flight suit still held a hair clip-style lock-pick hidden in collar hem overlooked during search. She bowed head under guise of stupor, working tongue to fish clip loose, spitting it into palm through Hood's mouth slit. ***, drop a if you've ever hidden a backup plan in plain sight. ***, metal ticked cuffs. She inserted pin, felt tumblers. Silent prayer, twist click, one wrist free. Quickly freed second pocketed pin. She remained motionless. Cameras probably watched. She needed vantage. Slowly she tipped chair, timing fall with a C compressor cycling to mask thump. Metal rang but muted. She rolled beneath chair frame, wriggled Hood to peek underside infrared lens on ceiling, blinking. She froze. Did they? C cuffs undone? Chair still looked occupied from camera angle, wrists hidden by drape of hood and arms. Good. Vent shaft above grid ceiling. She scanned. Tiles of acoustic board secured by screws. Too slow. Door main option. She replaced cuffs. Loosely for ruse, then slipped hood minimal to map room. Cinder block walls, one door keypad locked. Table with tray of syringes, no windows, footsteps returned. Hood back down, door opened, 2 sets boots. One voice female, scientist tone. Hood lifted. Bright fluorescent glare stabbed. Maya squinted but kept expression slack. Woman, mid-30s. Germanic features, lab coat over tactical vest, scanned her with penlight. Pupil dilation within parameters. She's conscious but subdued. She set clipboard. Ready for phase 2 calibration. Man behind her Merc leader from gate carried holo tablet. Asset will comply. He leaned, index finger under Maya's chin. You will answer. His English tinged with French, not Slavic. Interesting. Maya let eyes flutter. Water, she rasped. He nodded at scientist. She produced bottle, lifted to lips. Maya drank greedily, noting passcard on lanyard brushing. Her cheek level 4 clearance. Where is Autoland code for the Talon X drone prototypes? He demanded. So it was about drones. They failed to steal hardware, now want software from her brain. She swallowed. In the secure server you didn't reach, she whispered. He smiled. Thinly, I know, you will remote access it for us. She coughed, stalling. Need terminal, provided. He gestured. Door opened. They guided her down corridor into glass-walled lab humming with monitors. Cuffs remained but front-bound. Technicians at stations typed in languages mixing Cyrillic, Korean. Black Eagle indeed multinational. They sat her at console. Booted secure shell replicator pointing to base network via spoofed satellite link. She recognized UI stolen DOD tool. They expected her to bypass multi-factor using instructor credentials she'd memorized. Could she sabotage? Yes, embed worm to trace attackers and corrupt. Exfil packages. But she needed time and keys. Scientist plugged EG nodes to her scalp. If you attempt deception, biofeedback reveals stress. Maya forced heart even. Biofeedback can be gained. Recall. Peaceful memory. She summoned dawn hikes with mother along maroon bells, smell of pine. Heart slowed. She began typing passcodes. They provided wireless keyboard. Cuffs limiting reach but workable. She intentionally mistipped thrice mild stress spikes, but plausible sedation tremor. On 4th, she succeeded. Gateway opened. Data list scrolled flight control algorithms. Tex murmured approval. She embedded worm disguised as checksum routine. Set delay for 2 minutes, then hit transfer button. Status bar crawled. Meanwhile, she flicked eyes to surveillance. A corner feed displayed external perimeter. Faint outlines of rescue helos Pierce may be organizing strike. Good. Transfer reached 60% when hallway lights flickered power sag. My worm? No generator. Test, then distant rumble. Alarms? She saw security feed show muzzle flashes at front gate counter. Assault launched sooner than planned. Merc leader cursed. Barked Serbian orders, reservni plan. Scientists scrambled. He yanked cables from console. Transfer froze at 78%. He slapped Maya. "You stalled." She tasted blood, refused grin. The building quaked, breach charges blowing. Sprinklers burst overhead. In chaos. Cuffs dangle undone. They never locked after transport. She sprang up, grabbing keyboard, smashing scientist's nose. She vaulted table, snatched passcard. Leader drew pistol. She flipped monitor at him. Bullet shattered it. Sparks cascading. "Dropeth if you'd never let them see you break." Maya sprinted down secondary corridor. Red strobes now painting walls. Siren phrasing indicated chemical leak, maybe sabotage. Or defense measure. She swiped card at door labeled armory. Access granted level 4 good. Inside racks of MP7 South. Sidearms, flashbangs. She armed quickly, strapping chest rig over torn suit. Adrenaline washing sedation residue. Grabbed small breaching. Charge. TAC map on wall showed building sat inside old bombing range valley makeshift Black Eagle hideout. Exfil route. Service tunnel to vehicle shed, then up Canyon Road. But she couldn't just flee. She needed Petrovic confession link and server logs. Also rescue hostages. She glimpsed cell blocks earlier. She radio scanned surprise, base frequency. Faint, jammers partial. She clicked open mic. Transmitted beacon code repeating sabotage evidence plus location grid by dead reckoning. Maybe SP's intercept. Footsteps approached. She flanked door, triggered flashbang rolling into hall. Bang whiteness swallowed Merc squad. She shot knees to incapacitate non-lethal but disabling. She wrested earpiece from one, monitoring. Eagle. One to nest fallback to helipad, burn data. Good, they intend to torch facility. She hurried toward cell block, pellet gun at ready. Smoke-filled intersections, self-destruct. She followed signage, encountering minimal resistance. Mercs focused on external fight. Cell block gate locked, keypad numeric. She used scientist's card fail. Tried known default codes, none. Then remembered father's tip. Keypad keytops polish unevenly. Oily prints reveal frequent digits. She shone flashlight at angle 4689 worn. She brute forced combos. 4689 unlock beep. Door slid. Inside cages, 4 civilians, base contractors missing weeks and Petrovic, battered. He looked up, eyes glittering with shame. "You saved us." He croaked. She glared. "You tried to kill hundreds. Why help now?" "Forced," he coughed. "They hold my sister. Location chip implanted. I sabotage or she dies." He offered device a nano tracker. "Please, end them." Complex morality. Not time. She freed hostages, armed them with spare weapons, instructing route. To armory and then extraction when assault forces breach. Petrovic pressed USB drive into her palm. Evidence, communications, paymaster IDs. Bezos's real name Colonel Vuksavic. She tucked drive. An explosion rocked overhead roof access. Maybe. Fire sprinklers died, power loss. Emergency lights dipped. Over PA, Savic's voice boomed. Facility purge initiating. 90 seconds until thermite release. Damn, thermite would melt everything, data and flesh. She needed out now with evidence. She led prisoners down maintenance stairs to sub-basement, where schematics showed old drainage culvert leading outside canyon. Sirens wailed, red lights strobed, stairwell choked with smoke. She guided each step, counting breaths. At landing, reinforced door sealed, but manual wheel remained. She turned, rust resisted. Petrovic joined. Their combined force creaked wheel open. Culvert yawned, cold and dark. She urged prisoners crawl. Last in line, she closed door partially to slow fireball. Asterisk asterisk drop a. If you'd crawl through darkness for freedom. Asterisk asterisk. They slithered 50 meters. Knee-deep runoff water. emerging behind boulders half-mile from facility where hillside blocked line of sight. Behind, building erupted thermite plume like molten waterfall, night blistering white. Shockwave of heat brushed hair even. At distance, helicopters overhead U-60s with searchlights scanning. One spotlight locked onto group. Speaker boomed. Hands visible. Identify. Maya waved tack-light Morse code. KNOX. Response. Friendly. Ropes dropped. Pararescue descended, securing hostages. Pierce himself rappelled, grit, smudged but grinning. He hugged her awkward soldier clasp. Thought we lost you. She handed him USB. Evidence. Must reach JAG. He pocketed. Yet victory premature. From canyon mouth, twin headlights roared. Savik's escape helio skid jeep, mounted minigun whirring. Rounds tore earth near rescue team. Helicopter banked away under fire. Maya and Pierce dove behind rocks. Savik's jeep screeched to a halt, minigun swiveling. Maya's ammo low, hostages vulnerable. She glimpsed old service crane nearby hoisting rusted engine block suspended by frayed cable over canyon path. Plan flashed. She sprinted under covering fire from Pierce, reached crane control box. Bullets pinged metal, one grazed arm. She slapped. Emergency release lever. Cable snapped with singing twang. Engine block plummeted, smashing into Jeep bonnet, crushing gunner. Flipping vehicle onto Savik pinned underneath. Silence after echo. Dust settled. Steam hissed, gasoline trickled. Savik groaned, trapped. Maya approached cautiously, weapon trained. He spat blood. You think this ends me? Others already in motion. Your drone's ours soon. She glared. Not while I breathe. He laughed weak, coughed red. Breath won't matter if skies fall. Pierce cuffed him. Medic stabilized. Evac chopper returned. As rotors thumped, Maya's adrenaline drained, pain resurfaced. She collapsed onto stretcher. Paramedic pressed morphine, but she pushed away until report finished for Colonel via secure line. When 4 finally dripped warmth, sky above brightened toward dawn. Smoke column from destroyed facility rose like broken sword. Yet Savik's words echoed, others already in motion. She asked Pierce, "Use be secure?" Copied and uplinked. He hesitated. We found coordinates referencing a vessel off Baja Coast something. Called Project Skyfall. Her pulse quickened despite narcotic. Skyfall, the drone swarm demonstration scheduled next week. Morphine weight dragged eyelids, but she fought. Then we're not done. Pierce squeezed her hand. Rest a while. Debrief. At hospital, then we hunt. She nodded, surrendering to drug. As world blurred, helicopter banked east toward base lights. But on horizon west, a cargo ship's running lights glimmered on Pacific waters, unseen portent. A text pinned on Savik's confiscated phone before it shut off. Phase 3 grain. Activate Nemesis. Timestamp 0405. Cliffhanger rises. Unknown Nemesis algorithm perhaps. Pain surrendered. Maya to black, but dreams carried warning sirens of drones blotting sun. When the rotors finally stilled and the stretcher wheels jerked over the helipad's expansion joints, consciousness lurched back into Maya Knox like a door blown off its hinges. Morphine had painted painless fog across her ribs, but the scent of antiseptic and overheated aviation fuel sliced through the haze, reminding her she still occupied a body stitched by adrenaline and fresh sutures. She craned her neck enough to confirm the flight medic steering her gurney toward the Level 3 trauma bay of Falcon Ridge Regional Hospital, a squat concrete maze commandeered as temporary operations center, were the same pararescue airmen who had plucked her and the hostages from that canyon of molten thermite hours ago. Inside, fluorescent lights flickered a welcome both clinical and accusing. So many were already waiting. Security police bandaged in makeshift slings, fuel handlers wearing chem burn wraps, exhausted nurses whose hands trembled from too many 4 pushes. Maya's arrival caused a ripple, heads turning, whispers traveling. Faster than trauma pages, she caught phrases. That's her. Landed the crippled jet. Stopped the dirty bomb. Praise felt foreign, like a borrowed coat 2 sizes too big. She focused on the next breath, air cool, metallic, and on cataloging intel before drugs or doctors took it away. USB drive with Savik's conspiracy data. Safe in Pierce's custody. Petrovic, under guard in ICU, leg shrapnel lodged near femoral artery. Granite Aerotech stateside board. Already scrambling lawyers. And that ominous text, Phase 3, Nemesis ticking in her memory like a hidden countdown she alone could hear. Asterisk, asterisk, drop a. If you've ever felt responsibility heavier than all your wounds. Asterisk, asterisk, Dr. Elsie Tran, trauma. Chief, met the gurney at Bay 17, her posture equal parts compassion and command. Lieutenant Knox, you get 5 minutes for a field brief, then I close you up proper. That foam you sprayed is stopping the bleed, but it's not a miracle. Her eyes flicked to the crimson crust edging Maya's sutured ribs. Maya nodded. I only need 3. She gave the bullet points to Savick in custody. Facility destroyed. Evidence with Captain Pierce. Threat of Phase 3 tied to Project Skyfall demonstration off the Baja coast in 48 hours. Tran's brows climbed with every sentence. When she finished, the doctor sighed, motioned the medics to prep anesthesia. You're not walking anywhere until I excise the contused tissue. Rest buys you speed later. Maya tried to protest, but Tran tapped her foreport and the world washed to gray. Her last coherent thought before darkness reclaimed her was the image of a drone swarm, spiraling over ocean water like a metallic storm cloud. She surfaced 5 hours later in a dim recovery. Ward lit only by soft amber sconces designed to soothe the night shift. An EKG ticked at her bedside, rhythm slow but strong. Her side burned less. Layered dermabond tugged skin tight. Instead of a hospital gown, she wore a loose-fit tactical undershirt. Someone knew she hated the vulnerability of paper gowns. Captain Raylan Pierce sat nearby, fatigue smeared with dried soot. His once pristine undercut collapsed over brows. He dozed off in the chair, forearms crossed. The sight almost warmed her enemy yesterday, ally now. A tray table separated them, holding a sealed envelope marked classified and a gray tablet sealed in anti-tamper bag. Maya cleared her throat. Pierce startled awake, hand flying to sidearm that wasn't there. Then recognition softened his expression. Knox, he whispered, leaning forward. You slept through a full decon and stitch up. Tran says you're cleared for light duty in 12 hours, heavier in 24. He slid the envelope toward her. Intel dump. I already skimmed highlights, but Colonel wants your eyes before. JOCC meeting. Joint Operations Command Center had relocated to the hospital ballroom. She sat up slowly, muscles groaning. Pierce helped raise the bed. She tore envelope seal, reading flash summaries. Satellite captures of cargo vessel Andromeda. Dawn anchored 12 nautical miles west of Ensenada. Hull registry flagged as Shell Corporation for Granite. Transaction logs connecting Savick to private auctions for top-end AI guidance packages. Chatter intercept about Nemesis, an adaptive override code capable of hijacking any Talon Series autonomous aircraft. The demonstration off Baja Central. Coast tomorrow would gather defense officials, and Granite aimed to prove Nemesis by seizing every drone. Mid-flight, Maya exhaled sharp. They'll ground the entire Talon program if that happens. Billions lost, deterrence crippled, Granite. Buys low, sells high. In her mind's eye, she saw Savick smiling through blood. Pierce nodded. Colonel McCallan wants an infiltration team on that ship by nightfall. SEALs from Coronado en route, but they need someone who knows Talon architecture and Nemesis code triggers. His gaze fixed on her. That's you. She rubbed bandaged ribs. And Petrovic. He designed hydraulic interfaces and knows Savik's fail-safes. Pierce grimaced. He crashed in IQ after surgery. Couldn't move if he wanted. But he recorded. A briefing. He tapped the bag tablet. Maya cracked a half smile. Then let's listen. Dropeth if you've ever had to plan a mission from a hospital bed. They played Petrovic's video, his face pallid. Eyes ringed in morphine shadows, yet mind sharp. He outlined Nemesis architecture, a dormant kernel uploaded inside every recent Talon firmware update by a rogue code signing certificate. Activation required physical broadcast of a quantum noise. Seed phrase stored on a secure enclave key perched on the Andromeda Dawn. Once seeded, Nemesis would propagate across the demonstration network via SAT-link, rewriting autonomy heuristics. In 90 seconds, only 2 kill switch vectors existed: destroy the enclave or input a master revocation phrase that Petrovic embedded in the drive's deep partition. But the phrase required his biometric decryption, plus a second biometric. From the lead Talon test pilot, Pierce paused video. Lead test pilot is Lieutenant Commander Sophia Reyes. She's wheels up from North Island at 0600 tomorrow as mission commander for the demo. He rubbed eyes. We need her biometrics and the phrase before Granite transmits. Maya swung legs. Over bed. Payne stabbed but receded under will. Then we exfil Reyes from pre-brief, link her to Petrovic's file, board the Dawn, neutralize enclave. She rose, ignoring monitor's chirping. Tran said light duty in 12 hours. It's been 5. I'll settle for 9 more of whatever passes for rest. Pierce's jaw tightened. Knox, you nearly bled out. She pulled 4, pressed gauze. People will die if Nemesis hijacks those drones over populated waters. Footsteps interrupted the colonel. Himself strode in, silver hair damp from a forward operating shower. His eyes took in Maya upright, Pierce vigilant, monitor shrilling. He spoke before either could. Pierce, cuff the 4. Knox, gear up. You fly with the SEALs at 1800. God help Savic's fishing trip. He handed her a sealed green folder labeled Skyfall Task Order. Maya suppressed gratitude. No time. Yes, sir. The colonel nodded once, left. Pierce smirked. Apparently the brass no arguing with you is wasted breath. He tossed a compression shirt, fresh flight pants, and a pair of amphib boots onto bed. Suit up. Briefing in 1 hour. She caught his arm as he turned. Pierce, thanks for trusting me. He gave a humble shrug. You saved all of us first. Deadoed. He strode out. She donned garments slowly, movements deliberate. Each tug of fabric over sutures pressed fire along nerves, but pain reminded her. She was alive, purposeful. When finished, she faced mirror, bruise blossoming across jaw, hair hacked short by medics, eyes bloodshot but lucid. She looked dangerous and she felt it. Sunset laid copper ribbons across San Diego Bay as a matte black 60 Seahawk roared over Coronado's amphibious docks. Maya sat between SEAL Lieutenant Mason Grit, Gaines and Pierce, rotor wash, vibrating through spine. Across from her, Sophia Reyes olive skin, pilot's poise glanced at cuffs securing her wrists. She'd protested when NCIS agents pulled her mid-brief, but Data explained quickly, her biometrics necessary to save programs she loved. She regarded Maya now with a mix of suspicion and awe. You're the one who landed that trainer with no hydraulics, Rhea said loudly above engine. Respect, Maya offered thin smile. Grit handed Reyes a secure tablet. She scanned Petrovic's logs, eyes widening. If this is legit, we shouldn't just kill the enclave, we should capture it for counter intel. Maya nodded, agreed. But we scuttle before Granite reinforcements arrive. The plan, Halo drops 6 SEALs, Maya, Reyes onto stern deck during Moonshadow window. Secure server room, extract enclave key, transmit revocation phrase. Plant scuttling. Charges near Comaray. Exfil via rigid hull inflatable boat, RHIB, launched off Fantail. All under 27 minutes. At 2013 hours, the Seahawk kissed the night above Andromeda Dawn's wake. The moon hid behind marine haze. Red jump light blinked. Ramp yawned. Gaines pumped fist. Maya's stomach flipped, not from fear or altitude, but anticipation. They stepped into sky. Cold bit cheeks as slipstream stole breath. Altimeter beeped descent markers. Maya counted seconds, wind roaring, heart louder. At 2,000 feet, reserve chutes blossomed like black flowers. They veered toward faint outlines of container stacks. Maya landed hard on steel deck, knees absorbing shock. She detached chute, dragging it into shadow. Others landed with muffled thumps. The ship's deck crew, minimal, most below, celebrating. Smuggling success. 2 sentries at walkway near Cum Tower smoked, oblivious. Seal Novak ghosted behind first guard, blade quick. Gaines silenced second with garrote. Group advanced to hatch. Reyes interfaced portable hacking pad. Beep. Latch. Released. Maya's mind raced. Manual release? Novak gestured impossible. Required power. Pierce on comes from Seahawk declared intercept in 15 mics. Small boat fallback required. Ship's klaxon bellowed. Spotlights lit deck. Heavy machine gun turret. Rotated atop bridge wing. Tracers slicing dark. Team pinned behind container stack. Reyes crouched, eyes on cylinder. We lose this, Nemesis wins. Gaines assessed escape. Jump overboard with life vests. Rendezvous with submersible mini-sub. Trailing them. Distance manageable, but cylinder not waterproof. Maya recalled crate of vacuum sealed. Electronics they'd seen earlier near maintenance locker. She pointed. Team breached container. Found shock-proof Pelican case lined with O-rings. Reyes. Nested cylinder inside, sealed. Now to exit. MG turret hammered. Plates sparking inches above. Maya's ribs flared, but she vaulted cargo net, climbing container tower to flank MG nest. She relied on climber's fingertip grip, learned scaling Colorado canyons with her mother. Adrenaline blurred pain. She reached lashing ringtop, rolled onto roof of stack. Spotlights scoured deck, but their beams failed to pierce narrow gap between containers. She crawled on stomach, emerged only 12 meters behind gunner engrossed in suppressing team. She readied. MP7, but instead spotted hydraulic reservoir on turret swivel. One precise shot might seize weapon. She exhaled, recalling sniper. Breath discipline. Trigger squeeze pop. Hydraulic fluid geysered. Turret jerked. Barrels froze mid-arc. Gunner slapped controls baffled. She sprang forward, boot landing on deck behind him. He turned. She delivered elbow across jaw. He crumpled. She commandeered. Turret but offline, no matter. She seized his radio, announced in Serbian. Bridge control lost, sabotage at engine room. Chaos GIF. Below, Danes waved go. They sprinted for starboard rail where mini-sub rendezvous beacon flickered. But new threat emerged. Savik's lieutenant, Mila Kovac, stepped out flanked by 4 mercs, rifles leveled. She shouted, enough. Running Knox, hand over the chip. Maya descended ladder to deck, interposing herself as team halted. Wind whipped hair. Salt spray stung stitches. She lifted empty hands. You can't use Nemesis without Enclave. It's gone, Mala smirked. You forget Q-Link duplicates remotely. We only need activation phrase Reyes carries in her pretty head. She trained laser on Reyes's chest. Maya's mind clicked strategy. Stall. Then you need us alive. She edged closer to railing where ocean swelled. Gaines quietly triggered beacon for mini-sub. Earlier than planned stealth drone would surface in 90 seconds. Mila advanced. Toss weapons. Team complied slowly. Maya glanced at bundle of coiled mooring rope near her boots. Wind strong port side. Vessel heeled. Time ticked. She said, "Granite will abandon you when this fails." Mila's jaw tightened. "It won't. Move to bridge," she gestured. Maya feigned stumble, kicking rope coil off deck into water while diving sideways. Rope's free end still looped around deck cleat, paying out overboard. Mercs distracted. Gaines hurled smoke grenade, mist blooming thick. Gunfire erupted blind. Maya crawled to rail, clipped pelican case to rope end still aboard, then vaulted after, yanking rope taut. She plunged into frigid Pacific, shock paralyzing. Instinct screamed breathless panic. Training seized control. Limbs streamline, exhale. Trickle. Keep case above WATERLIN. Droppa. If you know courage is inhaled between heartbeats. Rope unspooled as ship churned ahead, dragging her through wake like flotsam. She kicked sideways, letting current swing her toward moonlit patch where mini-sub bob sleek torpedo with open hatch. Gaines emerged top, waving. He had followed her leap, smoke cover confusing shooters. Reyes splashed beside, gasping but determined, case still clipped. 2 SEALs provided covering fire from water with suppressed pistols. Tracers stitched but wide. They reached mini-sub. Gaines hauled Reyes, then case inside, then Maya. Sub sealed. Electric thrusters engaged, diving below keel depth. Through porthole, muzzle flashes faded, but onboard display lit red. Tracking. Sonar ping ship launched pursuit rib with dipping sonar. Mini-sub stealth coating limited but not invisible. Pilot whispered, "We can outrun, but incoming air contact. Drone with dipping sonar." She realized Granite still had airborne assets. At 75 feet depth, hull groaned. RIB depth charges splashed, concussive booms rattling bolts. Sealant dust drifted. Pilot plotted zigzag, but booms bracketed closer. Reyes clutched cylinder. Maya scanned. Compartment escape suits, compressed air tanks, maintenance torpedoes. "Not loaded." She asked pilot. "Range to drop off?" 3 nautical miles east. Too far under bombardment. Idea sparked. Use drone sonar ping against itself. Pilot had decoy buoy with acoustic amplifier. Maya rigged pelican case outer shell. To mimic acoustic signature, set decoy delay. They flooded aft chamber, launched case upward at angle away from course. Trailing bubble plume. Moments later sonar pings converged on decoy. A depth charge followed, erupting like underwater thunder. Shockwave buffeted mini-sub, instruments flickering but intact. Pursuit sonar lost track. RIB circled debris field. Pilot pushed throttle. Sub slipped silent into ink. 25 minutes. Later they surfaced among kelp beds near covert intercept trawler USS Sparrowhawk, disguised as fishing vessel. Crew hoisted them aboard. On deck, Maya collapsed to knees, exhaustion overriding triumph. Reyes laid hand on her shoulder. "You realize we just stole the kill switch to the world's most dangerous drone takeover?" Maya managed a nod. "Now, we have to broadcast revocation before 0600. Time said 23:48. Sparrowhawks. Intel Bay hummed warm with routers. Reyes slotted cylinder into sanitized cradle. Petrovic's revocation phrase decrypted automatically after Reyes provided voice print. System uploaded patch to satellite uplink bound for Talon test network. Progress bar reached. 100%. They exhaled as one. But alarm sounded, unauthorized intercept shown on screen. Reyes frowned. Someone spliced midstream. Patch corrupted. She typed. Data diff indicated Nemesis kernel mutated, anticipating revocation, self-encrypting beyond patch reach. It had learned. Maya's veins iced. Adaptive AI. Petrovic feared failsafe self-evolution if enclave removed. Reyes bit lip. We stopped broadcast, but Nemesis is now free agent code lurking in firmware. Tomorrow's demo drone's still vulnerable. And now we can't kill switch remotely. Pierce radioed from Seahawk overhead, catching brief. "We still blow demonstration then," he offered. Colonel McAllen patched in. "Canceling is political suicide. Defense brass already en route." Maya's chest tightened. "Then we must manually purge each drone before launch." Reyes shook head. 36 airframes across 3 carriers. Impossible. Silence heavy. Pilot called from deck. Radar pickup. Multiple inbound fast movers from Mexican coast transponder off. Reyes' eyes widened. Savic's backup. Stolen Talon prototypes. Armed, Nemesis inside, heading here. Screen plotted vector pointing straight for San Diego coastline. ETA 42 minutes. Maya swallowed iron taste. "Nemesis is already airborne." Colonel voice flat. "All assets scramble intercept." "Knox, Sparrowhawk holds Atlas Railgun prototype for tests." He paused. "You're our only Talon test-rated controller aboard. Take the chair. Shoot those birds." Down. Maya stared at weapon she'd only seen in white papers. A magnetic rail coil able to lob tungsten slugs at Mach 7. But with manual targeting, UI still in alpha. Ribs throbbed, eyelids heavy, but she stepped toward console. Thunder rolled from distant Horizon drone engines. "I guess flight instructor never taught me this either," she muttered. She settled into seat, gripping tracking grips as radar icons blossomed red. "Atlas hot," technician announced. Maya whispered, "Let's light up the sky." She pressed arming switch. End. Part 4 cliffhanger. The first Talon popped from cloud, wingtip lasers scanning. Maya's finger curled on trigger. The screen went dark. Power failed. EMP burst. Someone yelled. Atlas dead, drones screaming closer. Blackness and whining engines swallowing hope. Darkness pressed in like an ocean trench, thick and absolute, swallowing every diode glow and server hum aboard the Sparrowhawk. For an eternal heartbeat, Maya Knox heard nothing but the crash of her pulse and the rising pitch of turbines Nemesis-ridden. Drones knifing closer through marine haze. She forced her voice steady. Emergency lighting, manual fuses. Her words tasted metallic with fear, but command rationale laced each syllable. Around her, technicians stumbled from shock into motion. A red chem stick cracked, painting blood halos on console faces. Reyes yanked a panel, exposing capacitor rows. "MP fried main bus," she muttered, eyes tracking circuits the way cartographers trace rivers. "Backup batteries survived if we repatch across isolators." "Give me your multi-tool." Maya slid the titanium driver from her pocket, hands unchanged by tremor. Outside, Thunder Doppler shifted a Talon, executing a sonic push mere kilometers distant. She pictured wingtip sensors sniffing for targets. Scanning radio returns like scavenger sharks. ***, drop a. If you've ever worked in the dark because quitting wasn't an option. ***, grit gains in Novak bounded into CIC. Faces smeared with salt spray, rifles slung. Bridge reports visual on 3 drones, altitude treetop. Railgun down, CIW is resetting. Janes flinched as the overhead screws squealed, captain ordering evasive spiral. Maya's mind parsed the tactical picture. Sparrowhawk unarmored, disguised. Trawler, speed 12 knots, in open water. Talons could strafe with 30mm cannons or fire micro-missiles. Hull wouldn't last 60 seconds under full barrage. Only choice: blind them, burn their autonomy, or outwit Nemesis. Reyes sparked arc welder. Leads across an isolator. A shower of blue photons lit her face. Lights flickered. Then dim emergency bulbs glowed amber. Consoles rebooted snail slow. Maya slipped into Atlas seat again, willing resurrection. Reyes slapped key. Capacitors juiced on separate loop. 1. Shot maybe. EMP likely to smack us again if Nemesis drones carry pulse pods. She met Maya's eyes, calculation married to dread. Then we make the 1-shot count, Maya said. She keyed manual targeting gyro gimballing, word alive, screen sluggish but functional. Radar remained deaf, dishes scorched. She toggled optical grainy night vision, feed revealed black silhouettes skating above sea. Strobe lights disabled for stealth. Range to 400 meters in closing, Novak intoned. Maya thumbed magnification. Talons flew in stacked wedge, center drone carrying a bulbous underslung canister likely EMP payload. Wings flexed composite glimmer, belly cannons yaw. Ready. She whispered father's sniper mantra. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Hands settled on grips. She toggled coil priming. Capacitors groaned. After this shot, coils would warp from residual current without coolant. All eggs, one basket. She selected tungsten slug, vendor spec Mach 7. At 2,000 meters effective, she'd fire at 1,800 to mitigate drift. Compensate for vessel roll 5 degrees starboard, she ordered. Bridge responded with ballast shift, listing Sparrowhawk slide port to flatten gun's platform. Talons banked. Crosshair floated over lead drone's engine nacelle, MP drone. She exhaled, squeezed trigger. The deck bucked rail coils vomited blue plasma, slug screamed skyward unseen. Half-second later, lead Talon erupted nose shearing off, engines coughing flame. MP canister dislodging to plunge into sea, detonating harmless white flash underwater. But the pulse rode sea surface anyway, electronic screens fuzzed. But Rias's isolation protected key systems. The two winged drones wobbled at shockwave, but remained. Reload impossible, Tech yelled coils fried. Maya rose. CIWS? Gaines barked into headset. Coming online now. The 20 millimeters Gatling atop bridge spun, lights grinding. But drones accelerated. Splitting opposite corridors like raptors, Maya grabbed Rias's shoulder. We need Nemesis to cannibalize itself. Reyes frowned. Kernel uses distributed learning mesh. If we spoof a firmware rollback command, flagged high priority across link, Maya finished. They'll overwrite codebase with empty memory. Reyes' eyes lit, but link certificate revoked. Maya pointed to Petrovic's drive still in Rias's bag. Root key, Reyes grinned. They sprinted to come rack. Reyes plugged drive into hardened laptop shielded by Faraday bag inside EMP safe cabinet. She typed string force update, erase self-dist. To broadcast needed high gain dish, offline. Earlier. She rerouted to Sparrowhawk's HF whip. Amplitude low but maybe near drones while overhead. Seebs roared, metal thunder dicing night. Bridge crowed one drone hit wing, sprayed sparks but remained. Reyes transmitted loop packet repeatedly. Maya dashed a deck ladder, climbing into windstorm. She raised emergency flare gun, loaded with star shell fired into night to create. IR beacon, luring drones closer. Drones, drawn by heat signature and weapon flash, banked inward. One limped from CIWS damage, other pristine. As they crossed overhead, HF whip pulse hit them. Their nav lights blinked chaotic. Flight path JI to TER ed. Below. Reyes saw remote console spew logs. Nemesis core. PANIC memory 0. She whooped. The drones pitched vertical, losing eye authority, shifting to safe mode. Autopilot default commanded them to RTB altitude 1,000 feet, but with thrusters misaligned. They spiraled west, away. Cheers rose but drowned by explosion starboard. Bow missile warhead from unseen drone pack. Sparrowhawk heeled, water gushed over deck. Gaines radio. Hull breach forward compartment. Maya scrambled back. Nearly slipping on foam. Bridge reported 6 additional Talons inbound from South Nemesis autopilot, unaffected. Maybe earlier software variant immune to patch. Maya's mind flashed calculus. Distance to coast 20 nautical. Miles, Navy cap intercept 8 minutes. Sparrowhawk sinking sooner. She grabbed Loudheiler. All hands prep abandoned ship. But she refused to leave patch undone. She ran to Reyes. We board their net. Reyes tapped keys. We need physical handshake. At band frequency 16.2, but our transmitter lacks power. Maya's gaze flicked to deck crane batteries. Autopilot salvage. Plan insane. Launch a seaplane, UAV stored for research. Piggyback transmitter. Fly near targeted squad. BROED, CASD killer loop. Sparrowhawk's hangar held prototype glider Sea-Swift solar wings. Remote autopilot independent of ship power. Maya and Reyes hauled crate onto flooding deck. Waves lapping boots. Drop a if solving one impossible task never scared you away from the next. They assembled wings under red lights. Salt spray stinging stitches. Gaines rerouted portable. Generator to transmitter strapped beneath fuselage. Time short Talon silhouette against moon. Maya sets Sea-Swift autopilot to orbit drones at 500 feet. Broadcasting continuous update packet. Potential self-sacrifice. Talons might obliterate glider, but broadcast may propagate first. She heaved glider onto buoyant skid, shoved. Wave lifted. Prop spun to life. It leapt skyward on catapult of wind. Maya and Reyes watched breathless. On console tethered by long Ethernet, packets flowed. Telemetry. Glider closing drones. Talons locked missile signature. One micro-missile streaked, but glider agile, jinking. Packet broadcast reached target. Log lines, Nemesis core, panic repeated. Drones wobbled. Second missile struck glider wing, shredding solar panel, but not before broadcast spiked. Remaining drones snapped into failsafe, powering down weapons and climbing away. Uncontrolled. Bridge cheered. Sparrowhawk listed dangerously. Water knee-deep on deck. Generator sputtered, sparks flew. Captain ordered abandon. Life rafts inflated. Maya limped, Rhea's arm around shoulder. They boarded raft with techs, launched into choppy black waves lit by vessels' failing deck lamps. Behind them, Sparrowhawk sank bow first, railgun barrel pointing sky like gravestone. Maya felt ache. Too many machines lost tonight. Overhead F-35Bs ripped across sky, intercept flight arriving. Radio chatter confirmed drones disabled or splashed by missiles 2 minutes out. Coast secured, raft bobbed. Reyes laughed weakly. We still have Nemesis Enclave, but maybe code dead. Maya gazed at distant shore lights. Dead until someone necromances. We need burial this time. Reyes nodded solemn. Rescue Seahawk hovered, winch lowering basket. Techs ascended one by one. When Maya's turn came, she paused, scanning sea for survivors. Gaines called. Everyone accounted. She nodded, grabbed cable. Rotor wash hammered. Altitude rose. Ocean receded, a wrinkled bed of secrets. Aboard Seahawk, medics hustled, but Maya brushed them off. CO wants sitrep. She keyed SETCOM. Colonel McCallan answered from Hospital JOC. She relayed victory and loss. Colonel's voice softened. San Diego owes you dawn, Lieutenant. But intel signals Granite hasn't folded. Last come intercept reveals backup enclave stored on autonomous cargo sub bound for Arctic test range. Maya shut eyes. Nemesis a Hydra. Pierce voice cut in. Your call, knock, stand down or gear up. She felt blood-soaked bandage anew, yet spirit blazed. She looked at Reyes and Gaines. They nodded. We finish this, Maya said. Seahawk banked east. For refuel. 4 hours later, dawn-tinted sky rose gold. Maya, Pierce, Reyes stood on deck of USS Midway Museum, converted to temporary command, briefing with Admiral Nichols. Satellite tracked stealth cargo sub Kraken Gray north of Channel Islands. Mission: intercept before sub merges into deep Pacific trenches. Nichols assigned. Los Angeles class fast attack submarine USS Valiant with SEAL delivery vehicle to piggyback strike team. Maya, again essential for enclave recognition. Timeline: Tight sub merges below detection in 6 hours. Maya downed black coffee, adrenaline surging. Painkillers refused. Mind needed edge. She loaded spinal stabilization brace beneath wetsuit. Valiant slid under at 0900. Hull whispers soothing but ominous. Crew brief quiet. SDV canopy claustrophobic. Water temperature forecast 55 degrees Fahrenheit. At 40 meters depth. Launch. Maya, Gaines, Reyes, plus 2 SEAL divers propelled through cobalt gloom. Bioluminescent plankton swirling like stars. Kraken Gray's hull loomed titanic dark whale. They magnet clamped midship, cutting torch to access maintenance lock. Reyes patched fiber snake to data bus. Handshake confirmed enclave signature dormant, but armed with self-destruct charges. Inside. Corridors narrow, dim red lumens. Automated droid crew patrolled AI guardians. Divers moved silent. Trank darts disabled droids. Electromagnetic. Maya tapped into enclave vault behind pressure bulkhead. Biometric lock demanded Savik's print plus corporate key. They lacked both. Petrovic's safe phrase still partly accepted. Reyes found fallback using Maya's flight instructor code ironically embedded as failsafe. Pierce's earlier evaluation file contained override token because instructor assessments double as root of trust for flight safety. Maya input personal PIN, the one Pierce previously used to cut her. System accepted remote override. Irene sharp as knives. Vault open to reveal secondary quantum drive. Timer started 3 minutes until scuttle. *** drop a, if racing A. Clock is starting to feel familiar. ***, they transferred drive to shield box, but sabotage charges beeped escalate. Breach back to SDV path, blocked by droid swarm reactivated. Gaines tossed shock grenade, circuitry popped. Still path long. Time 1:45. Maya's ribs screamed, but she keyed sub-internal com. Spoofing audio to droids, reactor breach aft, prompting them starboard. Corridor free. At airlock they triggered flooding valve early, water rushing as they donned masks. Chargers behind hit zero boom rippled hull, shockwave chasing them into Pacific. Pressure surge hurled them. Maya's head slammed helmet. Sparks of light, regained cohesion. SDV thruster silent. Reyes tether drift. They regrouped, strapped drive onto buoyancy crate. Valiant sonar ping guided them home. Aboard Valiant, medical checked vitals. Drive intact. Back in San Diego, afternoon sun warm. Colonel McCallan shook Maya's hand on pier. You ended Nemesis. She allowed tired smile, but journalists swarmed behind fence, hungry story. Colonel whispered, Pentagon will declassify parts. You'll be public hero. Fear flashed hidden expert, no more. Her phone buzzed. Unknown text. ***, Nemesis never dies. See you in the sky, Phoenix. ***, she shivered. Phoenix was her childhood call sign, used only in closed family diaries. Maya looked skyward where a lone Talon drone, friendly, traced lazy circles vapor trail. Drawing the question mark, cliffhanger, who knows her past? Could her parents be alive? Shadow cabal still hunting. Maya exhaled, bracing for final part. Wind off the Pacific carried the scent of kelp and kerosene as Maya Knox stood atop the pier bulkhead. Morning sun turning the ocean into a mirror too bright to stare at for long. The text message still glowed on her phone. ***, Nemesis never dies. See you in the sky. Phoenix, ***, and somewhere inside her chest, a wire had begun to hum at a frequency only fear and fate could conjure. Phoenix, nobody outside. Her childhood home should have known the nickname her parents whispered when she mastered a new skill and seemed to rise from her own ashes of doubt. If someone did, either Helena or Amos Knox had clawed back from presumed graves, or the people who buried them wanted her next on the list. Rylan. Pierce approached with 2 coffees cradled in tape-wrapped hands. He offered one, warmth seeping into her stitched side. I ran the number through every tri-agency registry burner in Tijuana, dumped immediately. Whoever sent it, they erased footprints before we could cast a single plaster mold. Maya nodded, eyes tracking the gull that circled the USS Midway's flight deck like a tiny reconnaissance drone. They wanted the message heard, not traced. And they knew calling me Phoenix would push me back into the fire. She sipped. Bitter heat cut fog in her brain. Colonel's intel cell get anything off the new enclave drive. Pierce exhaled. Preliminary. Decryption finished 30 minutes ago. Not good. Nemesis was just the training wheels. The main payload is called Project Icarus, metastasized fork of Nemesis that can piggyback on any LEO satellite running outdated firmware effectively. Hijacking global GPS timing beacons. He swallowed hard. If they sink enough birds, they can deep fake location data planet-wide, confuse navigation for everything from ride-share scooters to ICBMs. A chill slipped beneath Maya's compression vest. Global disorientation. Airliners crossing mid-Atlantic might think they're over land and descend into ocean. Ships believing they've reached port would plow into reefs. They could make armies bomb their own coordinates. Pierce nodded grim. And they planned to broadcast Icarus seed tonight, 22 o'clock Zulu, from an aerial platform called Strato's Anchor, unmanned station keeping airship at 90,000 feet. Our people didn't even know it existed. These files show Granite refitted a retired weather research platform, loaded it with quantum servers and a phased array uplink. Maya's heart quickened, matching Gull's wing beat overhead. 90,000 feet above conventional aircraft, nearly at the edge of space. The only manned machine that could reach it and loiter long enough was the experimental Valkyrie spaceplane she'd helped test in simulators, years ago deemed too costly for production and mothballed at Groom Lake. She turned, gaze locking. With Pierce's. We still have the one Valkyrie prototype, correct? Pierce's lips thinned. Sitting in a desert hangar with dust thick as cake icing. Engines haven't spooled since the last test flight. But yes, she's ours if we can make her breathe. Maya drained coffee, the sting of caffeine stitching her resolve. Then we fly tonight. 3 hours later, a C-17 Globemaster thundered east, the Pacific shrinking behind steel tail ramp. Inside its cavernous hold, Maya, Pierce, Sophia Reyes, and Tech Sergeant Amani Fields pored over holographic schematics of Strato's Anchor, projected from a portable hollow emitter. The airship resembled a crescent moon inflated with helium, solar skins draped like scales, a belly pod housing servers and directional antennas capable of high-power bursts across multiple bands. Sophia traced a line with stylus. Here's the transmitter chimney. We could sever coax runs with shaped charges, but that doesn't kill Icarus if its code has auto-broadcast triggers on redundant boards. She zoomed. Server rack icons pulsed. We must insert purge routine. Into primary quantum core, same as Nemesis, but physically inside this time. Tech Sergeant Fields scrolled to landing gear. No conventional docking. You'll have to EVA from Valkyrie onto tether rail, crawl to pod. 30-meter drop to Earth's curve if you slip. Pierce snorted. She landed a jet with no hydraulics. She managed a ladder. Still, his gaze warmed with worry. Maya felt the hum again, a note threading her bones. I climb, Reyes patches purge, Fields primes charges for failsafe. You pilot the Valkyrie, Pierce, and keep us alive. He straightened. Instructor becomes co-pilot. I can live with that. A crooked grin formed, quickly hidden behind professionalism. By mid-afternoon, Groom Lake looked like a sun-bleached mirage, runways shimmering. The Valkyrie waited beneath open-air scaffolded sleek delta wings and dorsal intake vents dusted but proud. Ground crew already hustled, swapping turbines, calibrating reaction control thrusters, loading locks. Maya walked the perimeter, palm brushing metal like greeting an old warhorse. She whispered, "We'll rise one more time." Heat hazed the air, but she felt only ice water purpose. Droppa. If you've ever dusted off an old dream and found it sharper than the day you stored it away. She entered cockpit still smelling of polymer and ozone. Avionics flickered awake, ghostly green HUD lines dancing across glass. Maya strapped into left seat, the commanders pierced to right. Their helmets clicked, pressure seals hissed. Checklist unfolded rapid fire. She barked parameters. He answered with switch flips. Reyes and Fields work aft cabin, sealing EVA suits, verifying mag boots, securing purge payload inside hardened briefcase. Reyes caught Maya's eye through open bulkhead. "We still haven't heard from Petrovic." He coded the purge sequence between surgical morphine nightmares last night. "I want to make him proud." Maya nodded solemn. "We bring home dawn for him." She looked skyward through canopy at cobalt ceiling, where Strato's anchor drifted out of sight, but not out of reach. Valkyrie taxied onto mile-long runway, afterburner cones shimmering. Tower voice crisp. "Valkyrie 1 cleared for immediate departure. Climb unrestricted." Maya advanced throttles. Turbines shrieked, G-forces plastered backs. Wheels lifted, desert blazing below. Pierce retracted gear. The horizon bent downward. At 45,000 feet, they ignited scramjet module. Mach meter tipped 4.0. Stars winked in twilight noon. Pierce chuckled incredulous. "I forgot how fast she is." Maya smiled, eyes intent. At 65,000 they lit rocket cluster. Acceleration hammered breath. Weight pressed them into seats as Earth curved pronounced. Sun carved razor across black. Altitude 88,000, 89,500. They throttled down. Matched anchors reported stratum 90,200 feet. Radar pinged envelope. A bloated blip 200 nautical ahead, drifting like heaven-lost whale. Maya eased control surfaces, reaction thrusters micro-firing to null vertical oscillation. Fields unlatched cabin door into tiny airlock. Pressure. Equalization hissed like serpent. Reyes entered first, silver EVA suit reflecting cockpit lights. Fields followed, carrying charges. Maya held her gaze on HUD. Crosswinds unpredictable at this height. Each gust from solar thermal pockets could pitch them into flat spin. Pierce feathered thrusters. Aligning dorsal hatch with anchors trailing maintenance rail. Distance collapsed 100 meters, 50, 20. Maya locked autopilot. Hull vibrated as anchor drogue grapple engaged rail magnetically. Dock achieved, Pierce confirmed. Airlock outer hatch popped. Reyes climbed out, mag boots clanging faint through hull. Wide-angle cam fed to Maya's visor. Reyes stepping onto metallic backbone of airship. Earth a swirl of clouds beneath, sun fanning violet above. Fields followed, tether lines glowing electroluminescent blue. Maya remained inside for final system station, keeping autopilot, reposition thrusters ready. She spoke, -30 to broadcast, let's sprint. Reyes replied, copy 2. Board lengths to server pod. They advanced hand over hand. Airship skin rippled under them, helium sacs flexing. Constellation of small SMA antennas bristled, actively seeking handshake with remote satellites. Static crackled in Maya's cans. Granite control likely testing link. She heard Pierce murmuring navigation altitudes, but anchored hearing to crew. Outside, server pod hatch required biometric sensor keyed to SAVIC. Fields placed a rigged silicone prosthetic imprint they'd harvested from SAVIC in custody digital print mapped earlier. Lock disengaged. Reyes ducked inside soft shell habitat, microgravity turbulence pushing cables about like seaweed. Maya started timer. 24 minutes to 22 o'clock Zulu. Reyes plugged purge drive into primary console. She called out, interface prompt. Unknown. A I firewall challenge response pattern. Need manual override line of code. Petrovic predicted as much, but sedation unclear. Maya's stomach coiled. Pierce glanced. We can uplink his bedside if awake. Maya toggled come. Hospital line patch. Petrovic answered groggy but aware. She explained sequence. He recited debug command in Serbian. Reyes typed. Firewall collapsed. Purge progress loaded. Outside. Fields placed plastique charges on array coax hubs. Just in case. Progress bar 10%. 17%. 19%. Suddenly, the bar froze crimson. Reyes cursed. Counter routine triggered. Icarus recognized purge. Pod lights strobed red. External antennas swiveled, powering up. Broadcast imminent. Maya felt sweat despite chilled suit. She keyed Reyes. Fallback? Reyes scanned logs. We can't outcode AI, we starve it. Drop. Core temperature below quantum gate. Threshold shuts down compute. Fields chimed over channel. I can vent helium coolant lines into pod's radiator matrix supercool boards. But we risk structural bubble rupture. Maya measured possibilities. Do it. But vent valves accessible only along dorsal spine, inside narrow surface. Crawl space saturated with high voltage BU, SBARS. Pierce spoke. I go. Maya's heart tightened. His flight suit lacked mag boots, but he insisted. She reluctantly approved. He anchored tether to rail and exited hatch, each movement slower due to low air density, but dangerous nonetheless. Inside crawl space, Pierce reached valve wheel, gloves slipping frost. He cranked, hiss-like Titan exhaling. Temperature sensors plummeted. Reyes's progress resumed 25%, 40%, 55%. Anchor shook. Helium pressure redistributing. Outer envelope shimmering. Pierce radioed, strain lines vibrating. Hurry. At 70%. Piercing alarm rang in Valkyrie cockpit. A HUD flagged missile launcher. To air from unknown high flyer rising below. Someone protected anchor. Maya scanned. Stealth Talon variant climbing at Mach 3, missile streaking. She cursed, snatched. Controls, undocked Valkyrie in emergency override. Metal clamps sheared. Wings flexed. Missile seeker locked on largest radar, likely Valkyrie. She canted 90, rocket spool, jettisoning vapor as decoy. Missile followed. She dived. G forces slamming sutures. In her ear, Reyes shouted, 90% almost. There. Maya gritted teeth, rolled inverted. Triggered countermeasure. Pyro flare erupted. Missile broke high, but Talon still tracking. She heard pilotless drone voice broadcast. Phoenix, Phoenix. Whoever controlled Talon used her nickname to taunt. She lured drone away radial, buying Rhea's time. At 98%, Pierce reported coolant tank at redline. Valve jammed open. Envelope tearing? Maya glimpsed anchor via external cam. Gash along skin venting. Vapor plume. Airship descending slowly. Progress 100%. Reyes unplugged drive. Purge complete. Icarus zeroed. Fields triggered charges. Antenna mast snapped with blossom of flame. Anchor's broadcast capacity died, but structural integrity failing. Helium cells popping. Reyes field scrambled to rail. Pierce still near valve. Path blocked by twisted frame. Maya pitched Valkyrie vertical, roaring back. She lined dorsal bay with rail section, autopilot micro steady. Reyes latched first, cable winch pulling her through belly hatch. Fields next. Pierce clung as section collapsed. Tethers fraying. Maya's breath stopped. She rolled Valkyrie so belly faced him, open ramp within meters. He leapt, arms out, missed. Ramp, hit wing root, slid. Maya banked left, aligning again. Reyes crawled to hatch, flinging spare tether coil. Pierce caught, Reyes braced. Servo motor hauled him inside, just as anchor ruptured in silent supernova of shredded fabric. Helium plume glittered sunlight. wreckage drifting like dying starfish. Valkyrie escaped, but Talon drone still pursued. Maya armed last rocket, pivoted craft. Missile rails empty. She toggled experimental laser coms. They might hack Talon the way Granite did. Reyes interfaced quickly. Streaming purge echo disguised as system update. Talon wavered, wings yaw. It banked away, losing guidance, autopilot default returning. To base, they exhaled as one. Valkyrie systems flagged fuel low. Maya set course for Edwards Air Force Base. She glanced at chrono. 22:11 Zulu. Icarus window closed. Earth below, blissfully unaware, continued turning. Halfway home, cabin lights flickered. Reyes and Galley rummaged for water, looked up. Maya's voice over intercom. "You three saved the world's compass tonight." Reyes chuckled. "Let's debrief after more than hospital gel, oh." A pocket of calm settled. Pierce, bruised, sat. Co-pilot seat, eyes toward horizon. "Maya," he said softly. "You know Phoenix wasn't just a nickname. Your mother logged flight diaries under Project Phoenix, a contingency to protect you. Granite hacked them. They used that word to rattle you." Maya swallowed. "Then they still dig at ghosts." Pierce nodded, "But ghosts can fight back." She smiled thin, focusing on landing. *#*. This story took us a long time. If you like it, subscribe. Now back to the story. *### Edward's single quote salt flat runway shimmered under dawn peach glow. Valkyrie kissed down, tires chirping. Brakes howled, craft decelerated, rolling to stop beside escort jeeps. Emergency crews celebrated, but Maya remained quiet until hatch opened to desert breeze. Colonel McAllen greeted them with applause that faded under the weight of his next words. Granite's senior directors vanished overnight, traced to private airstrip near Mendoza, Argentina. Satellite shows heavy lift plane prepping for departure. We believe they carry final Icarus fragment, a neural seed called Nemesis Prime. Maya wanted to collapse, but her spine straightened. "Then we pursue," she said. McAllen shook head. "International law tangles. We need deniable asset." His eyes held hers. "Your parents once ran dark flag operations called Phoenix Flight Off Book Rescue Missions. Intelligence now suggests they didn't perish in crash a decade ago. They were captured developing anti-AI protocols and may still be alive. Phoenix Flight Protocols identify you as successor." The hum within her chest exploded into symphony. She inhaled dust and destiny. "Give me cargo bird, small team, and I'll bring them home and end Granite." McAllen handed a black envelope marked Phoenix Initiative. "Debrief at 0900, Wheels." Up by dusk, he looked at Pierce, Reyes, Fields. "Assuming your team consents." All three answered with silent nods. Maya turned toward rising sun. Edges of light gilded her scars. She wasn't the hidden expert anymore. She was the reveal, the reckoning, tomorrow. Skies over the Andes would witness whether a phoenix truly burned brighter after every resurrection. She squared shoulders, taking first step toward hangar as bass loudspeakers played reveille, and somewhere tangled. In classified networks, an idle text cursor blinked, ready for the next round. 2 more great stories are next. Don't miss them. Subscribe and turn on notifications.